Boo. Bye. Are we just starting on screen, or are we get added?
I think we're live.
Right
I think we're
now.
already live.
We
I
are.
think it's
Welcome
live right
everybody to Knights of Prospect. Dungeon World actual play. Here we are playing live on the screen. My name is Sam Hoare, and I'm playing Chauncey, the wonderful boy wizard, who performs all sorts of strange feats. Mm-hmm. And we have a whole lovely cast. Let's all introduce ourselves and our characters.
Hi, I'm Rob Mulligan, and I'm playing Ronaldo Francis Mackay IV, the foppish bard and reluctant heir to a throne that may or may not be evil. I don't know. He's my dad's daddy issues. That's my character.
Mm-hmm.
He's just daddy issues.
I'm daddy issues.
Daddy issues, the character.
That just about sums it up. My name is Kaylee Kane, and I am now playing Leven Stevenson, which is the now the sole inhabitant of formerly Vil Theralandi's body. That's where I'm at. Leven Stevenson, what we know about him so far is he grew up with Raz by the river. Raz is our friend, the priest of Enteresh. He was then stuck in a soul stone because of a magical accident for 20 years. And now he has replaced Vil's soul in her body. Very
a magical accident. Just very magical accident prone.
Boy. I'm Ryan Daly playing Gregory Shitbeard, or Gregory Shitbeard. Mm-hmm. The former legionary, always been a dwarf, known for taking being able to take lots of damage and not hurt too much. Definitely don't like everything that's going on in this screen over here with the soul magic, anything magic. Actually, maybe Ronaldo and Gregory get along a little bit, but
I don't know.
A lot of magic. Yeah, maybe. Pretty
I feel like
pretty
we get
bristly.
along the most.
Pretty bristly guy. Not a big fan of magic, so this whole soul magic thing.
Yeah.
Not happy about that.
And I feel like Gregory and Vil were kind of close in like their own way.
There was a mutual respect there.
Yeah.
I believe there was a moment when
It's true.
Vil made Gregory respect her. So.
Was it the moment that I grabbed you and shouted, "I am not a coward"?
It was that moment, yes.
I felt the connection between you two right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm John Serpico. I'm your game master. And I also just love everything happening.
Yeah. So let's recap a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we talked about a little bit, right? Kaylee, you're playing a new character in the same body now.
That's right.
Yeah. That sounds exciting.
River Bro.
With me, we're gonna all get introduced to Leven Stevenson for the first time today.
Yeah, we haven't met yet. That'll be fun.
Yeah, kind of everything that happened here is a nice reminder of why soul magic is unbelievably illegal in Tower Town.
Yeah.
Just too complicated. Too wacky.
It's very complicated. That's what it is. It's illegal because it's too complicated.
But good news, everyone. Just to lighten the mood of that event, of course. Chauncey did win the Magic Fair. Much fanfare
at the expense
of it's really important. It was really important. It was like his goal in life.
Yeah.
And so now he gets to do something maybe even more important, if such a thing could exist.
Yeah, I mean,
More
essentially,
the Magic Fair.
It's hard to lose a Magic Fair when you essentially like free a hero of the city from like an alternate dimension of dead. So
pretty good.
Kill that guy.
Pretty good.
Yeah, except that guy is like what came from an evil book and seems just awful.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in game.
Oh, good.
I think the important thing, as always, to remember is that in life there are consequences. So actually, with that, let's get started here because as we're talking about here, kind of a lot went on. As mentioned, Archmage Akka, the Archmage that used to be trapped in Chauncey's evil book, has been miraculously brought back to life as a result of Chauncey's Magic Fair project. Essentially, he kind of communed with the kind of elemental plane of death, and as he was doing that, the book he carried around with him kind of took on a mind of its own, and the spirit in it, the spirit of Archmage Akka, kind of emerged into the plane of death and then left the plane of death back into the real world. Because Archmage Akka is a beloved hero of Tower Town and was essentially the former mayor before the current mayor, this has been honestly really exciting news. So all of this kind of resulted in several things. First, Chauncey, you are now the absolute star of Arcane College students. People, you're older than you, are asking you for advice. They are asking you to weigh in. You are being told by various, professors to sit in on their classes that are, for people older than you. Your brother, your older brother, Ron Tomdal, is essentially in half your classes now because you were kind of accelerated up through the curriculum. You're essentially doing the magical equivalent of taking a lot of AP classes right now.
Yeah. Now instead of an evil magical book, I have a book that I have to sign and tear out autographs for people. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you still have a book, but now it's a very nice book that you don't think is evil at all. That's just full of your name and you're handing it out.
Chauncey Hauser over here.
Yeah. The other obviously very important thing that was a result of this magic fair and Archmage Akka's reappearance and all of that is that Leven, you are now once again among the world of the living.
Yeah.
You were trapped in a soul stone when you were 10 years old, about 20 years ago.
That's right.
So you essentially grew up trapped in a soul stone.
I did.
Yeah, and so now you're kind of an adult, but you're very kind of new to Tower Town, obviously, and also new kind of back to the world here.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. Yeah, I'm just happy to have all this room to spread out. It felt like, I don't know if you've ever crawled into a small river cave, but your knees get tucked up right by your head. Your back gets sore from hunching over, and you just gotta wait there until the lizard gets close enough. So when your soul is in a stone, like mine was for 20 years, that is how you feel, but with your soul.
Yeah, that's the analogy you have had to deliver now at least a dozen times to all various people. Obviously your best friend Raz, you and he have been spending a lot of time together, and you're also now kind of starting to get introduced to all of Raz's friends who are apparently big deal heroes around here.
Yeah.
And you also are almost kind of by proxy a big deal hero for a couple of reasons. First, you are like you're the man that walked home from death. And also you are inhabiting the body of one of Tower Town's famous heroes.
Yes.
So like the combination of those two things are kind of a very big deal. It's almost like you've jumped ahead a lot of steps in terms of reestablishing your life.
Yeah, people keep giving me free stews.
Non-stop stew. There's a place called the Elk Crest Farmhouse where you are revered, and you have to answer a lot of questions you don't know if you know the answer to.
Yeah.
There's someone, the kind of the proprietor and caretaker of the Elk Crest Farmhouse is someone named Wilma, who is essentially doting on you all the time.
Yeah.
And there's also a duck named Hobie.
That's right.
Who is just kind of near you all the time, trying to make maybe sense out of you. You don't speak duck, but you have a and you don't. It's tough to explain.
Yeah.
You feel like you have a kinship with Hobie, but you can't really talk to Hobie. But Hobie, you know, kind of several things is like canon fact. One, you know that Hobie wants to keep you safe. Two, you know that Hobie is friends with all of these friends of Raz. And three, pretty much whenever you wake up, wherever that is, whether it's at the church with your buddy Raz, or whether it's at the Elcrest farmhouse, or whether it's in like kind of the small apartment that the town gave you, like every time you wake up, like Hobie is like sitting on a chair nearby. And that's, you know, weird. You don't owe this duck anything, but there Hobie is all the time.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's certainly not bad.
And unsettling.
It's both. I think it's both in equal measure. Ronaldo and Gregory, you've kind of taken on the role of translator. Ronaldo, you essentially have to explain kind of to all of Tower Town's well-to-do families about the goings-on of this. Like, like you're essentially like in like kind of the highborn clubs in various salons, talking about like soul magic and how technically this isn't illegal, and also like Archmage Akka's back and that's a huge deal. And so you're trying to explain like, oh yeah, no, my friend of mine had a book and like he came out of it. Like, so it's a lot of
sacrificed themselves to bring Leven and Akka back in a sort of manner of way. So illegal, noble, that's really up to you. I'm a noble, you're a noble. What's wrong with that? That's usually the runaround I give them. I start putting it on them.
Yeah. It's almost like, you know, you're the great citizens of Tower Town. What do you think about this?
And I always
real
follow
Socratic.
him. I always follow him and make a voice in the crowd and get like, "Oh, he's right. Oh, that guy's correct about what he said."
Yeah.
Who said that?
And yeah, Gregory, you're doing much the same with various delegations from the Dwarven hegemony that are in Tower Town. So what's nice about this is, you know, the general tenor of every conversation is magic is evil and dangerous, and soul magic is the most evil and most dangerous. And so you kind of start every conversation with your peers and representatives from the Dwarven military and all of these various people kind of on the same level. You don't have to kind of give your traditional preamble of like, all of this is stupid and wrong.
No, we know.
Of course you know. So it's been a busy few days. You know, essentially, all of you are actually, Leven, you know, Raz said that you should essentially kind of invite everyone somewhere to like introduce yourself and actually kind of like have a sit down. And so where is it, Leven, that you kind of invited everybody?
It's the only place I know. The street.
Leven, if you need a suggestion, I can give you a suggestion, but this is fine. This is fine.
I prefer to be outside so I can see the big tower. I'm not used to it yet, and it's quite a marvel. By the river, we've got nothing this tall, nothing even close. So I was wondering if we could maybe take a pint, take a walk, and just gaze at the tower.
Okay, I'm on board, I guess.
So yeah, all of you are kind of drinking al fresco,
a few pints,
staring at the tower, which is, you know, I mean, it's hundreds of feet tall. Essentially, the tower of Tower Town is hundreds and hundreds of feet tall. The second tallest building is like a quarter the size. So no matter, Leven, where you are in town, you can see this darn thing.
During the day, I often just stand and look at it for so long that I get a little bit dizzy and fall over backwards.
But Leven, sometimes I have actually grown to be that tall before. I don't know if you've heard, but I can be very tall.
Not that tall.
I can be like super tall.
Don't encourage this.
Maybe someday, kid. But I don't really know if I buy it.
I cast Grow.
Stop it.
Yeah, you do. All right. So, Chauncey, you are once again using the Forbidden Grow magic. So, the way this works is you kind of pick a number, pick the ideal height you want to grow to, and then based on the success, and you're always going to grow, but based on the success of the roll or failure of the roll, we will figure out how much. So, how tall do you want to grow to, Chauncey?
I want to be exactly as tall as the tower.
All right, so that would be about 300 feet. I love this.
Leven, it's about time you learned who the big shot around town is.
Chauncey, this is a good idea.
So this is going to be the tallest you've ever grown by like a factor of 6. So I am going to put a bit of a penalty on this because it's real hard.
Fair.
Of -2. Woo. So 2d6 plus your intelligence -2. In a dream world, you get a 10 or higher. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
I'll show you, Leven. You said -2?
-2.
So 11.
Okay.
Nothing up my sleeves.
So
you don't need to go this high, Chauncey. This idiot doesn't understand perspective.
Chauncey, you're going to knock over a nearby building. This is a bad idea.
Chauncey, describe how this goes.
All right, everybody, I'm going to need you to stand back.
I don't stand back.
I walk over to the most open space I find. Maybe not too far from the fountain where I cast a spell that I try to forget.
Yeah, that's a big crossroads, and so you can kind of plant your feet pretty firmly there.
All right. And I cover my eyes and I say, "Check it out, Leven!" And I shoot up to that height while tearing out a page of my autograph book and throwing it at him. You'll want this!
Yeah. Chauncey, the famous young wizard of the Arcane College, shoots up towards the heavens like the beanstalk of Fable.
Chauncey, get down!
Growing tall, but proportionately so, until his head reaches the top of the tower. Chauncey, this is... Everything is chaos up here. It's so tall, and everything is tiny, and you can't see people anymore. What you can see, though, is coming out of the tower what look to you to be a series of flies or mosquitoes or something like that.
Chauncey, fun's over. You proved your point. Time for you to come down.
In truth, it is a dozen griffin-mounted silver helmet battle mages. Essentially the heavy cavalry of Tower Town that all kind of burst out and begin like arcing around you. This is very much like a King Kong on top of building with biplanes situation. No one is kind of attacking you or anything, but yeah, there's now just kind of this swirling cloud of battle mages. All of you, by the way, Ronaldo, Gregory, and Leven, you all look up. All you can see is like, before the perspective gets weird, like up to his knee. Because this is a giant. This is the biggest living thing that has ever been on the continent, just standing there above your head.
Gregory, I feel like we need to climb him and scold him.
You want to climb that? I'm not climbing that.
He's not gonna stop on his own, and I would like to attempt to climb Chauncey.
Okay, so let's talk about stakes here. Essentially, one of the three of you needs to get within earshot of Chauncey and literally talk him down before the battle mages assess the threat and start firing high-powered magic at him. Ronaldo, how do you want to do that? Are you just going to try to scramble up him and see what happens?
Trying to scramble up, grab any piece of clothing I can, just use him as holds and like hoist myself up as much as I can. Ronaldo's pretty in shape. He's able to do this. He doesn't have good endurance, but he can try.
Yeah, you get there quick enough. It might be okay.
He skips leg day, but he does not skip arm day.
Never skip arm day.
Oh,
Would
boy.
anyone like to help Ronaldo sprint up Chauncey?
Fine.
Leven, were you saying something?
You want me to boost Rolando up?
Yeah, so I want each of you to just kind of describe to me how you're helping Ronaldo climb a 300-foot tall boy wizard.
Hate the way you phrase that. Classic two-hand boost. Foot in the hand. Like a mangonel.
Mm-hmm.
I will offer my hands to a two-hand boost.
Gotcha. So you're gonna get the first kind of several feet for free here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you +1 on the roll. So Ronaldo, this is going to be 2d6. I'm gonna call it your strength. This is more of a rope climb than a scale a sheer cliff face kind of deal. So
Okay.
2d6 plus your strength +1. Tell me what you got.
So I immediately put one hand on Gregory's, one hand on Levin's, and I try and like up. And you said +1?
Yep, plus your strength and +1 on top of that.
8.
Not bad. So
Bad.
yeah, what's going to happen is you are going to essentially you have the boost they gave you was enough to kind of hop onto one of like the rope tassels, like the swinging rope tassels that like extend down out of Chauncey's robes.
Yep.
And so now this is kind of like a big wild rope climb here.
Convenient rope tassels. All right, got it.
This is going to be a partial success. So the way that's going to work is this. I'm going to give you, Ronaldo, a choice. You're either going to take some damage in the climb or get hit with a magical effect that I'm not going to tell you yet.
A magical effect that you're not going to tell me yet.
That's the right answer.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Leven, do you see me? See? I'm big.
Oh, he's so loud.
I do.
Yeah, the shouting of Chauncey, and it wasn't even shouting, but it's enough to shake the shutters on houses.
That's my giant ears.
This was a dumb idea.
What ends up happening is, Chauncey, you start getting buffeted by essentially these almost like needle-like pinpricks of cold, like freezing icy cold. And you're not taking damage from it, but what it's doing is you feel yourself starting to slow down. Like your fingers are getting numb, your toes are getting numb, you're starting to get kind of sluggish and slow. Which honestly is not necessarily a bad thing. Ronaldo, the same is happening to you. You're essentially in the splash zone of these area effect freeze spells.
Oh,
so you're being kind of hit with freezing magic. And kind of everything from like your belt down is like frozen. So now you're just kind of climbing hand over hand.
I don't need legs. I skip leg day.
On the top of the tower, which Chauncey is your line of sight now, you see Archmage Bossia of the Arcane College, the essentially governor of Tower Town and the dean of your college, kind of standing there, kind of looking at all of this and apparently preparing some sort of ritual magic.
Hey, Basia!
Ugh.
Like things are happening on the top of the tower. Like the very top of the tower has these like kind of crenellations that look like horns, and there's like energy starting to crackle between them. Ronaldo, you keep climbing. Chauncey, at roughly this point, you realize that Ronaldo is kind of climbing up the tassel of your rope belt. What do you do? What are you doing with all this?
Hi, Ronaldo.
Get down! They're trying to kill you, you idiot!
What?
Get down! They're trying to kill you, you idiot!
I'm bending down closer to Ronaldo. One more time.
Get down! They're trying to kill you, you idiot! And also, can you grab me? This is incredibly challenging.
Okay.
I'm not using my legs. My
slowly-
legs are frozen.
I try to grab him down,
Whoa.
put him back down on the
Whoa,
earth.
No, come back down. You come back down.
And then
Chauncey,
I try to relinquish my spell.
Absolutely. I need you to roll a dexterity check, though, to make sure you don't destroy a building while you do this.
Of course. 9.
Okay, that's good enough. So you, you end up kind of putting him down, and you're going to relinquish the spell and shrink back down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you do, and we'll let the dexterity check carry forward. It's a partial success. Essentially, you start shrinking very, very rapidly and kind of unevenly until you are roughly Chauncey-sized and kind of full. In essence, you are shrinking faster than gravity is pulling you down. So by the very, very end, you're about 20 feet above the ground, and you just kind of belly flop into the very fountain you won your magic from at.
Oh.
Well, I fall over because my legs are frozen.
Yeah, you're gonna need to lay down.
You listen to me, Leven.
Well, I'll tell you.
You're new to this world. Shut up.
That
You're new
was
to this
like
world.
nothing I've ever seen, and
You haven't seen much.
Dragon.
We now have
Rule number 1.
What?
Never, ever encourage that boy to do magic.
What? He's
Ever.
He's a magic doer, isn't he? Isn't that his number one thing?
Told you I could do it.
I can't feel my toes. I
He
really
said he
can't.
could do it, and he could do it.
All right, so we are going to jump forward in time. We're going to jump forward in time a little bit. You are all in prison. You've been there for a couple of hours.
I really wish they unfroze my legs.
Yeah, this is the. It's not an unfreeze. It's more like a slow thaw, and you don't like that. Chauncey, also, you are in bad pain, like all in your bones and muscles.
My bones.
I've never been to prison before.
I've been to prison twice. This is my third time.
Guy, don't worry, Leven. We're great at being in prison.
I could get us out of here right now if we wanted to.
I thought you people were heroes.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. Shut up.
We're going to stay here because somebody needs to learn his lesson about growing 300 goddamn feet tall in the middle of broad daylight.
Yeah.
My bones are in pain. I think that's a lesson.
Is
Okay.
it? Is it? Because your bones could have been dead. You were about to die.
I'm
There was
sorry.
crackling magic, and it would have been your own fault.
Is he not supposed to do that?
No, yeah, he's not supposed to do that.
No one is supposed to do that.
It's an illegal spell, I think.
It's illegal. Pretty cool spell, but
Oh well.
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
he did it.
I'm sorry, everybody. Okay. wanted Leven to know that even without my book, I am a very powerful, mighty wizard who is very famous and has earned being very famous, and is really good at magic and could do anything.
And is in prison.
I'm going to give your character, I'm going to give you a new advantage. So on your character sheet, in the things only you can do section, you now have a reputation. So whenever you get a chance, just put in reputation magically dangerous.
Me?
Chauncey, unfortunately.
Okay, I don't think so.
Whenever
You write down magically illiterate.
Whenever your reputation as being incredibly dangerous and powerful would give you an advantage, you're going to get some bonuses for that.
Hey, Gregory, I snuck in the beer, so here you go.
So there is some well, it's now the opposite of al fresco drinking. It's in prison drinking. But yeah, you're all there, kind of stewing in your own juices, so to speak. And you hear a pair of footsteps walking down the hall of this particular prison. And kind of rounding a corner and standing in front of your respective jail cell here are two people. Three of you know very well, and one you've only just met. Spitzfoot of the Knights of Prospect and the captain of the Silver Helmets is standing in front of you all, as well as Archmage Akka himself.
Greetings, sirs. I'd stand up, but I currently can't feel my kneecaps.
Hello.
Spitzfoot and Akka look at each other. You want to do it? No, I'll do it. I got that. And they kind of nullify the effects on your legs, Ronaldo. And
thank goodness.
They instantly are able to kind of bend again, and also it feels like they're on fire.
Oh, God! Oh, jeez! Oh, my groin feels the worst of all!
I know that feeling. Ha!
Haha.
Archmage Akka looks at Spitzfoot and nods, and Spitzfoot looks at all of you with kind of a mix of, hey, everybody, and I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, and walks away. Archmage Akka kind of waves his hand in front of the locked cell door, and it opens, and he walks in and kind of sits on a bench and kind of looks at all of you. Okay. Well, Chauncey, I know.
Hi, Akka.
Chauncey. And you must be Leven. I've been told that you and I have been in a very similar predicament recently.
Did you get in trouble for saying that you bet someone can't do magic that they're not supposed to do, that you didn't know that they would not? What?
Stop making a fool of yourself. It's not what he means.
Do you mean that you were recently fishing down by the river and the fish that you were trying to catch you realized was too small for the holes in your net?
Akka lets himself smile, which is simultaneously very strange and also very disarming. He looks at Gregory and Ronaldo. Okay. Well, none of you are going to be prosecuted.
Okay.
If you do something for me. It's nothing bad. I need you all to break into my house.
What?
Lose your key.
No, I have it. And he actually kind of produces from around his neck a key on a lanyard and drops it, Gregory, in your hands. He looks at your hands for a while. They never took off your dwarven cestus, so you're still wearing your weighted gloves. And he looks at them for a second, kind of his eyes narrow. The cesti of Doolan Doomian. Well, that's all the that's all I need in terms of a resume from you.
Why? Who's Doom and Doomian? Who is that?
I won't tell you later.
Okay.
Ronaldo, I know your family.
Yeah.
Your father and I have gone back a number of years.
I'm so sorry for your loss. I don't know. Thank you, Gregory. I don't know if we've been properly introduced. How was, I guess, welcome back.
Thank you. You have your friend and star pupil Chauncey to thank for that.
Sure.
Though technically we have all been traveling together for some time. If
What?
Chauncey didn't actually explain it to all of you, I was trapped in that book that he carried around for so long. Chauncey got me out.
What?
That's right, Aka.
Oh, that's how we're similar, because I was trapped in a rock.
Aha, there
Well,
it is.
My buddy Aka here made a deal with the inevitable
The
to
inevitable?
get out of the book.
The inevitable, it's an extraplanar power, sort of the uninitiated term is you could kind of consider it the god of death. It's a little more complicated than that, but the god of death and I came to an accord, and now here I am back again.
How interesting, Aka.
You know, one time I insulted an Elder Titan, and he got so mad that his friend Elder Titans made fun of him, and we were able to escape. Sorry, it's unrelated. I just wanted to brag for a moment.
I make eye contact with Aka, and I try to remember anything that I saw as he was leaving the inevitable that I could use to sway people, maybe to see whether his intentions are ever good or cruel.
Yeah, well, that's up to you. Essentially what had happened at the very beginning of all of this when you were in the extraplanar obsidian plane of death was that, you kind of held the book tight when you realized that you were kind of in this big, horrifying trap of a place. And the book kind of opened itself up and started speaking, and it was in Aka's voice. And then the book kind of vanished, and in its place was Archmage Aka. What happens after that, like from that moment until the moment where he emerged from a portal to a cheering crowd, is up to you. What in fact happened then?
He appeared from the book. I made my choice to save my brother. And as we both left where the inevitable is, we made eye contact like this for a moment. And his eyes were pitch black. And the same smoke that poured from my head while I was speaking with the inevitable poured from them.
And so you make that same face to him again, and he kind of matches your gaze. Well, look at us, Chauncey. Just two wizards that hate to be constrained by the overly complicated laws.
That's true. Have you grown as tall as the tower, Aka?
Growth magic is something that even I do not risk. But I applaud your industriousness, Chauncey. I want to do you all a favor by having you do me one. I need you to break into my house. If you do, I'm going to make sure that this unexpected use of growth magic results in nothing more than a stern talking to from my successor, Archmage Basia.
I have a follow-up question. Why,
Of
if you
course,
have
Ronaldo.
if you have the key, Why are we breaking in?
Yeah.
Well, a couple of reasons, really. First, my house has been warded by the best enchanter that I know of, specifically me. And when you build a house full of powerful magical wards and then leave them unattended for 5 years, sometimes those wards get angry at their creator. So I don't want to be the first one through the door, especially if me opening my own door will cause half of Tower Town to explode.
Oh!
So we're magic chum.
The second and more important reason is I want you all to trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been in my house for 5 years. It is just as I left it before I made a series of now regrettable choices that got me stuck in that book. I want you to go to my house and be the first people in it for 5 years. I want you all to look around. I want you to rifle through my things. I want you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am not part of some great mechanism to destroy you, Chauncey, or anything else. Also, while you're in my house, there's a chest of books in my study that I borrowed from the Arcane College 5 years ago and are long since overdue. If you could bring them back, that would be terrific.
Books.
If I recall correctly, and granted it's been a while, it was about a dozen of them. They were in a big green chest.
Anything juicy in those tomes?
Yes, incredibly juicy. All sorts of forbidden magic. And ancient magic and
Wait a
various
second.
incantations, yeah.
Isn't forbidden magic why we're in prison?
Yes. The Arcane College has the finest collection of books on forbidden magic of anywhere in the world, except maybe Sentinel. But technically everything is forbidden that the elves do here, but that's a whole other story. Yes.
What?
The best way for us to defend against terrifying forbidden magics like an unchecked growth spell is to truly understand them. So I was doing some homework before I got myself enmeshed in the soul trap that led us all to this moment.
Well,
Did one of those books lead you into that soul trap?
No, my own stupid choices did. At the time, I didn't think it was a trap. I thought I was making the right choice. That said, I'm sure there are books in the collection on if you want to create an enchantment to trap a soul in a stone. That is very fair, Gregory. Well, what do you say? Wipe the slate clean?
Soul in a stone. Well, that sounds fine by me. You don't mind Rolando, do you?
It's Ronaldo. And no, I don't.
I'm in.
Well, if the choice is that or rotting in magic prison, I suppose
some-
option A.
Yeah.
Take a look at some books out of it. We'll give it a try.
Okay, well, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. The house is guarded by, well, at the time, it was a fire elemental. It would just walk the halls. It did a lot of my cleaning for me. But elementals tend to, if left unchecked, do some strange things. So frankly, I'm not sure about the state of my house, except for the fact that I have on good authority it is still standing and the door is still locked. The fact that you're holding the key will probably disable many of the wards, but not all of them. So I ask that you be careful and protect yourselves, as I have been told by Spitzfoot and others that you can.
I mean, we don't really have a choice, and that's a really weird way to get us to trust you. So I guess we're in. I'm in, at least.
Well, Ronaldo, if that's not enough, tell me, how can I make you trust me?
What
How
were you
1
trying to
million
do with the
gold
book?
coins.
What? Sorry, what did Leven say?
Oh, I said 1 million gold coins, but I think your ways probably makes more
God
sense.
damn it, Leven.
Leven, is it a fortune you want?
Isn't that what everybody wants? Think of how much rope I could buy.
Archmage Akka kind of reaches his hand into something. His hand vanishes into air, and he kind of produces from, I don't know, a pocket in space, a map, and he hands it to you. A fortune greater than you can spend in the lifetime is pointed to on that map.
Huh.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go get it?
No, I technically don't know where that is.
Go. A puzzle.
A puzzle.
What was the choice you thought you were going to make when you were handling that book, which frankly I thought was fairly evil? But what were you trying to do? What did you think? You said you were trying to do what you thought was right. What was that?
Ronaldo, I want you to roll a discern realities roll. It's 2d6 plus your wisdom.
Done. 5.
Okay. He's going to tell you, but because that was a failed roll, this is going to be very bad news. Either the Mackays or the clerks, and I'm not sure which, are seeking to destroy the government of Tower Town. 5 years ago, I believe I started uncovering a plot with clear evidence that either your family or the family of your rival, the clerks, were going to do something to upset the balance of power in the Riverlands. I think it had something to do with Catavia to the north. I was doing my best to create permanent duplicates of myself, having my soul replicate again and again and again, such that there would be a small army of me that can track down every lead, and if necessary, create a ritual powerful enough to erase the Mackays or the Leclercs from existence. Since you asked.
Hold on. Mackay. I have heard that name before somewhere. Hold on, everybody. I know I can get this.
You'll get it, Leven. I promise. I bet you will. I really believe in you.
Leven.
Leave me.
You got it. No, you will just
continue thinking about this and
think about this for as long as you need.
I know it's gonna come to me. I'll get back to you when I think of it.
Got good stuff. Great.
Well, Ronaldo, is that enough information for you?
No, but nothing ever is. So let's get this over with, shall we?
Hey, Aka, quick question. Any of those tomes have anything about angels or anything
yes.
like that in? All right.
Consultation with the Angelic Plane. It's the first book of its kind. A predecessor of mine from centuries ago did most of the mapping. As you now know, it is very challenging to contact an elemental plane and leave it with your sanity intact.
Sounds perfect.
If you want to borrow it, just don't return it to the Arcane College. I'll send a note along.
Okay.
And we jump forward. Now you're standing outside of Archmage Aka's home. Let's just give me a sentence from each of you to describe this place.
All the lines, the exterior, it's all twisting. It's brick and wood, but it moves in wavy patterns up to the tips.
The wooden parts seem to be inlaid in some sort of language that I've never seen before. And if you look at it just right, it seems to be glinting. There's a glow to it.
There's clearly it's a very noticeable, interesting looking building, but there's clearly some sort of magic on it that it wants you to look away from it. It's actively trying to get you to not notice it.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention. But if you're looking at the house and then you look away and look back, sometimes it kind of looks like the windows are in a different arrangement.
Yeah. all of that is very true. For lack of a more precise term, this house looks evil. Incredibly, incredibly evil. And unnerving. Yeah. When the mirrors move and you look for a second, you start doubting yourself. It's like, well, no, they must have been there. And then you look away again, and it's almost like there was this memory of how the house looked that quickly goes away, as if you're trying to remember a dream. The language kind of etched into into the wood is, Gregory, you're staring at it and then you realize what language it is. The language is called anguish. There are elves that live underground in the deep places, the places that are far too dangerous for the dwarven hegemony to burrow into and dig into. The elves that live down there write in this language. Generally speaking, when dwarven mining teams open up some ancient cavern and they see this language on the walls, they seal it right back up.
Huh.
So, yeah, it's a really weird house. And it's very interesting because Archmage Akka is apparently a man of great contrasts. Beloved, almost universal. Like, Archmage Akka walks the line of a universally beloved politician, an exceedingly rare thing in any universe. Archmage Akka is also incredibly powerful. Archmage Akka is also incredibly smart. Archmage Akka also can apparently be kind of evil, or at least give off that air. And so there's kind of this jumble that you're all trying to make sense of. But in the time that you have spoken with him, Ronaldo, he shared state secrets, and Leven, he gave you a map to Impossible Fortune.
Yeah.
So, and he also gave you his front door key.
I can't tell if he's actually evil or just kind of spooky.
Yeah.
You know how smart people are kind of freaky?
Yep.
No.
Like how they kind of creep you out, don't they? When somebody's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
They don't creep me out,
No.
When you're kind of like, oh, I'm uneasy. They seem like they know a lot. That makes me
I know a lot.
feel like I might throw up. That is kind of, maybe that's his deal.
Maybe if we go inside of his house, we can figure it out a little bit more.
All right, who's opening the front door?
Right. Well, I have the key.
You do.
Hand on my rapier, ready to go.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of ready. Leven, the weirdest thing happens to you. You feel inexorably drawn to, like, draw an arrow and knock it on your bow. Like, just your body is, like, telling you to do that. Hobie, by the way, is here with you. And he's kind of looking up at you expectantly.
Little guy follows me everywhere. What? All right, let's give it a try. Try things her way.
So, yeah, you all kind of ready yourself, and Gregory, you kind of open the door, and the sound of it opening is this weird mix of, like, you know, crackling in the doorway, almost like kind of lightning or static, and also the sound of, like, heavy machinery all moving. It's this weird cacophony of metal and energy. And, you know, you kind of turn the key kind of full around, like a full 360, and then pull it back from the door. And by the time you do, several things about the house have changed. That weird elven language anguish written, it all fades away.
No.
That pit in your stomach every time you look at the place goes away.
Huh.
And the house, the house suddenly seems a lot less ominous and much more eccentric.
Huh.
You know, the geometry is not offensive to you anymore. It's just really weird.
Maybe he's just, like, wacky.
I mean, it's a good deterrent. If you don't want people breaking into your house, have a spooky house.
Sure.
Yeah, so you open the door and swing it open. And Gregory, you're the first one through because you have the key. Why don't you go ahead and roll discern realities for me?
Well, that's a 5.
Okay. We are going to jump ahead about 30 seconds because that's when all of you are able to actually inhale again. Because the second you all open the door and walk through, you begin falling. Falling and falling and falling. Instantly and horrifyingly. In absolute terrible darkness and icy cold.
Oh God, the cold is back.
Inevitable.
It's after about 30 seconds that you realize you haven't hit ground. You're just falling as if in like a chute or down a really long well or a pit. You realize that you all, like, the darkness is not full darkness. You realize you can all kind of see each other. You're all kind of falling in a cluster. It is still horrifying and unnerving, but you can all see each other as you fall.
Chauncey! This isn't real, is it?
I'm trying to dispel it.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's roll to dispel some magic for me.
5.
Okay.
I make a ritual circle with my hands.
Like you kind of create a ritual circle and it just goes like it just shoots up. Like every time you create one, it just goes. It's suspended in the air. Eventually, you figure it out long enough to kind of hold a ritual. And the good news is you're now falling upward, rocketing upwards as if towards the heavens.
I did it!
And you are that way for several minutes.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
I saved us.
Again, this is your fault.
The last time I felt this way, I woke up in this new body. You think we're all about to be somewhere else? You know, universe-wise?
This is what death feels like, then yes.
Oh, this isn't what death feels like. Death feels a lot worse than this.
Okay.
I talked to it for a while. Everyone hold my hands.
All right.
All right.
I grab Hobie's wing and on top of that.
I grab Hobie's wing on the other side.
And the perspective shifts very dramatically. Like you realize, like once you have like your hands are holding other hands or tips of duck wings, you realize that you are not in fact falling. It's like you now have like a focal point, which is each other. And you realize you are all standing on solid ground in a very nice vestibule in this house.
That was I didn't like that.
I keep holding on to Gregory's hand.
All right, on 3, let's try letting go.
All right.
1,
2,
3. Yeah.
And you're okay.
Okay.
This guy's house is bad. This is the worst.
We did it.
First time I saw magic, I thought it was cool. The second time I've seen magic, not a fan.
So the first floor of this house, now that you're in it, it's not a modest house. This is an opulently decorated house. The table is a huge stone slab table with the outside, it's like 4 inches thick, and the whole outside of it is carved with kind of dwarven house heraldry. So this thing was clearly a gift from someone in the dwarven hegemony. Around it are tapestries with magical battles and all various elements of fame. The kitchen is kind of richly decorated. You kind of walk through there. There's like this big servant's kitchen with all kinds of stuff in it. Everything is immaculate. There's not a bit of dust anywhere.
I immediately try and pick up something to see if it's another illusion.
Sure. What do you pick up?
I assume we're in like the foyer, so I pick up some sort of like a vase or some piece of like art that might be a smaller sculpture to see.
Sure. Yeah. You pick up a sculpture of it actually you pick up a sculpture of the Tower of Sentinel. It's kind of the sister tower to the Arcane College of Tower Towns, thousands of miles away. And you pick it up, and you're looking at it. It's beautifully done.
All right.
And at roughly this moment, a tray comes floating up to all of you with tea and light desserts.
Are these gluten-free?
I eat a dessert.
It is delicious.
Oh, well, I will eat a dessert.
Also delicious. Well, actually, do you like raspberry jelly?
It's so. I prefer blueberry.
This is a so-so dessert, then.
This is okay. Maybe he's just kind of okay. Weird taste. Why was this? Who was? Oh gosh, is the fire guy who was making these tastes?
None for me.
Mine tasted like a vanilla bean and cream.
I'm all
Not
set.
bad. Yeah, so some of you take a brief repast, others of you do not. And yeah, the first floor, it looks like it's very much for entertaining. There's kind of this foyer and then this kind of almost like formal dining room, and off of that is like the kitchen, and then there's like a sitting room and looks like a couple of guest rooms. Like, this is a beautiful house. I mean, you realize some of the outer walls look a little weird because the outside of the house is a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all the furniture in here is beautifully made and all of that. And there's, a big grand staircase up to the second floor, and you'll go up there. And on the second floor is the door to the study, and there is written in that language again, anguish, the language of kind of the deep elves, is this weird poem that you're kind of looking at. And the more you look at it, the more you realize that you can read it.
Oh, even me?
Even you. It says this. Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men. The wise to stay at home, the brave to go to sea. Up in this study, come and speak to me.
Ah, I go up to the study.
Yeah, you open the door.
Wait.
And a couple of things. One is you get kind of this gust of cold air. Like not bone chilling or anything, but just definitely colder. And Chauncey, you immediately start getting a weird sense in your bones. Like, you don't know what it is, but it's strange and you feel a little unsettled by it. So that's one thing. The other thing in here is there is a 7-foot-tall creature made of shadow, and it's trying to kill you. So who wants to go first?
I run at the shadow and try to tackle it to the ground.
All right. So this is going to be a strength check. So 2d6 plus your strength. And I'm going to give you a +1 because that sounds like a great idea.
Fantastic. That brings me to a total of 7.
Okay,
No.
Partial success. The good news is that you tackle this thing to the ground. The bad news is that touching it makes it feel like your skin is rotting away, so you take 6 damage. The good news for everybody else is so long as Leven is on this thing, restraining this horrifying thing, you all get +1 to whatever you want to do.
Hurry and kill it.
Vil, get away from that.
I'm trying to take in my surroundings for a second. I'd like to discern if there is some kind of curse related to entering the room, related to shadow.
Absolutely. 2d6 plus your intelligence.
9.
Yeah, there is a magical dampening field in here. At least there are a few different things. One, you're pretty sure it's suppressing magic. Two, you're pretty sure it's creating a bubble of soundlessness, meaning people outside the room cannot hear into the room and vice versa. And three, you're pretty sure people in here aren't going to age.
Oh, boy. Oh, magic is bad in here, guys.
What that means for you, Chauncey, is every time you try to cast a spell, it's going to be at a -4.
Okay. I didn't think I would have to do this, and I draw my training sword. Given to me, filled with one notch in it from the one time I have hit an enemy with it.
Awesome. Ronaldo, what do you want to do?
I would like to handle it the old-fashioned way, and I take out the rapier and I try and stab it in what seems to be the fleshiest bit of pure shadow.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's roll hack and slash. Tell me what you get.
A 7.
Okay. Do your damage. This thing is going to subtract 4 from whatever you roll. So tell me what it is net of 4.
It is 7.
All right. So you do 3 damage to it. So this thing has substance. And that's good because you stabbed it in the substance. You now have a choice. Right in the substance, because this is a partial success. You're either going to take damage in return, or your sword is going to immediately start rusting.
My sword immediately starts rusting.
Yeah, the top inch of it immediately becomes like kind of pocked and auburn, and eventually flakes off. But, okay, this thing can be hurt. Gregory, your turn.
Gregory, punch it while I'm holding it.
I don't like this idea. I'm going to try to defend Leven from this thing.
Sure. So the way this can work is I'm going to have you roll hack and slash. If it's successful, you can essentially extricate Leven from the situation and take damage in his place if there ever is any.
Very good. +1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it's a 5.
Okay. So that feeling of protecting Vil is very much kind of inspiring your actions here, and you kind of approach in with the cestus and kind of dive at it to kind of tackle and restrain it. As you are like literally in the air, the dwarven cestus, inhabited by the warrior spirit of Dulan Dubian, literally flies you 2 feet in the other direction. And so you end up kind of like body pancaking it. And now essentially both you and Leven are on this thing. You both take 6 more damage. But anyone doing something now will now have a +2 to hit it. So, Chauncey, back to you.
I look at my friends. I look at my sword. I think about Vil trying to train me with my sword. And I look at Leven. And I try to cast light on the sword, as I want to do.
All right. This is going to be cast a spell. 2d6 minus 2d6 plus your intelligence -4.
That's 6.
Okay. Like so you kind of cast it like it. The magic in here is weird, and the best you could do is the palm of your hand lights up, and that's it. So now you have a glowing hand.
I run to hit it with the sword and my palm.
Okay, hack and slash. 2d6 plus your strength.
Chauncey, be careful.
Whack it, kid.
7, 8.
Okay. You take 6 damage, but you also do damage to it.
Yeah.
Roll 1d6 damage.
3.
Okay. So you are now also kind of tussling with it. You kind of stab it with the wooden sword, it doesn't do anything, and then you kind of slap it in one of its several weird heads, and that just really hurts your hand. And you're not sure what if it, but at this point, there's now just bodies piled on top of this thing. So, Ronaldo, you go.
Now that I no longer have my rapier, I take a step back and start weaving some bardic magic in attempt to sick burn this shadow.
Awesome.
And I say to it, "Hey, shadow elemental. What do you call a fire elemental that's been turned into a shadow elemental?" Pointless.
Okay. I love this. A magical, vicious insult.
What?
I don't
What do you
get it.
10.
Okay. So what that means with this sick burn is you kind of mock its very existence, and the thing kind of stiffens up. Essentially, you existentially cursed it, and so it kind of freezes up. Vil, you realize that this kind of wriggling ball of like painful burning shadow stops moving for a second. What do you want to do?
I take my hand and I whack it.
Yeah, take your hand and whack it. You don't need to even roll to hit it because it is in stunned stillness. So do your damage with your hand. I'm going to say that's 1d6.
Okay, that'll be a 1.
You punch it and take 6 damage. Your hand looks horrible and gnarled.
What are
All the
you-
fingernails fall
Don't
out.
touch it.
I've never fought a shadow before.
Okay, so all of you kind of come to this at roughly the same time. Ronaldo's essentially magically laced existential insult froze this thing solid. You know that to be true. You also know that touching it will cause you to age or have your weapons be destroyed. So this thing is frozen. What do you want to do?
I say hit it with the biggest thing in the room. Gregory, hit it with the biggest thing in the room. Let's break this Archmage Aka's stuff.
Cool. Gregory,
are
what's the
breaking
biggest thing
in.
in the room?
It is a pedestal holding a bust of some, I assume, elven archmage from long ago.
Yeah.
Looks to be marble.
You are picking up probably one of the most beautiful pieces of masonry that dwarves have not carved, and you're going to smash it with it. So let's go.
Sounds about right.
Actually, just roll your damage. It'll be the same as your cestus damage. You don't even need to roll to hit because this thing is frozen solid.
What is that? Is that D4? Is that D? What is that? A D? 2D4.
2d4.
2D4 that I can't pick up with the cesta. Okay. That's a 5.
Hey!
Okay. So we're going to jump ahead in time a little bit now that you figured out how to defeat this thing, which is use stuff that's not yours to crush it. And so over the course of the next 10 minutes,
I tip over a bouquet.
You absolutely destroy everything in the nicest room you've ever been in.
I roll up the rug and smack it.
Punching like your skin, it gets to a point where like the fun of destroying a room kind of overtakes you, and now you're throwing glassware at it. And
I think it's dead, but let's keep going.
I just run up and punch through a window.
So you thoroughly wreck Archmage Aka's formal magical library. But in doing so, you end up destroying the Shadow Elemental. And you all take a break. And you see a small green strongbox. You realize, in fact, you did smash that against the elemental as well, but it's a well-made strongbox. And inside of it, when you open it up, are about a dozen books, all stamped and actually, you don't know this until you leave this magically suppressed room. But in the hallway, you kind of observe the books, and they're all covered in like the wards of the Arcane College and kind of all the various things you would expect. And yeah, there is definitely Chauncey, a book about how to contact the angelic plane.
Don't mind if I do.
Yoink.
And I put it in a new pocket, not the pocket that I used to keep the evil book in, but a new pocket on the other side of my room.
Ronaldo, one last roll from you. I think this is going to be the last roll we do today. Oh, I want you to discern realities for me.
3.
Okay.
Is that good?
Nope.
I'm sorry. 4.
What do you see?
There is Ronaldo, uncontrovertible evidence in journals and ledgers and literally crystals that show the same 20 seconds of time repeating again and again and again, that point to one fact that is incredibly clear. Your mother and your father were, at least 5 years ago, working with agents of the Catavian Regency to overthrow the government of Tower Town. Whether that is still true or not, you do not know. But 5 years ago, they were trying to stage a coup.
Makai! Ronaldo, I saw that on the bottom of the stein you were drinking out of.
It's my last name. Yeah.
Great job remembering, Leven.
You did it. My dad is a real bastard.
And so we're going to end right there.
Oh my gosh.
Whoops.
One of my absolute favorite things to do as a GM is when people are trying to figure something out, if they succeed, they get good news, and if they fail, they get bad news. But either way, they get news.
It's a good way to
do it. Ronaldo, you got a lot of I got a lot of bad news.
A lot of so much
really
bad news.
Really bad.
I heard an elemental's feelings though. That was
that was amazing.
Sick burn.
Oh my god, the sick burn spell that you took.
Stupid.
But it goes so well for a bard, you know.
I don't know why it's not normal. Like it should be part of my class. It's a multi-class spell.
Yeah. I think that's an immolator spell.
Yeah.
That you
my
took.
gosh.
Oh, that's an immolator spell.
Yeah, that's
Immolator
so
spell.
weird.
Does that mean he needs to burn a memory for using it?
No, that's not how I'm playing it.
I make a
I wish we
bad
had
memory
Immolator.
every time.
Yeah. So, Leven's
God.
first adventure.
I hate Leven
Wow,
so
Leven.
much.
No, Leven is already a terrible influence on
Real
Chelsea.
fun. Real
We
fun.
have like a third child in the group now. A third mischievous child.
Like sort of like and slash adult age like enabler. Like to be like, hey Chauncey, I bet you can't grow 300 feet tall.
Oh God. 2 seconds in, I was like, Gregory is going to kill me.
Even Ronaldo
But
at one
no.
point was like, I need to be an adult right now because this is gonna go bad.
Gregory is the most angry at Leven for putting Ville's body in the way of danger.
Oh
God.
Heartbreaking.
Every time Gregory almost said Vil, a piece
Oh,
of my heart
God.
just
Yeah, that's not going to go away.
No.
oh,
Oh, my goodness. Everybody is processing this in their own way.
I think it's like Gregory's so tough that like anytime Gregory is emotional at all, like in the tiniest way, it like destroys me.
Aw.
Me, Kaylee, I'm sitting here just like
Yeah.
Oh no.
So,
Same.
yeah.
We all
We
Well,
all are.
Oh God. Well, everybody, great work, Chauncey, Ronaldo, Leven, Gregory. Congratulations on your first adventure, Leven.
thank you. I
And
don't
thank you.
fight.
And thank you all to everyone at home. And hey, congratulations for watching an episode of Knights of Prospect.
You're
This was
doing it.
this was episode 19. If you want to see all of our previous episodes, they are all on Facebook. Just go ahead and look up Knights of Prospect on Facebook. And since you're doing internet things anyway, be sure to subscribe to 2MB Studios. It not only houses Knights of Prospect every Saturday at 8 o'clock, but it has a full 7 days of programming a week. All kinds of amazing things, from game shows to fun panel shows to improv game shows to fantasy role-playing adventure shows. So something for everybody. So until you are back to 2MB Studios, have a great day or days, and we will see you soon.